to a Whole Step Ahead podcast, where we look at the whole picture while keeping you a step ahead. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Monique.
And we just want to welcome you back to our podcast today. Today's topic is
getting ready for school.
Oh, yay. Woo woo. Yep. So everybody's either going back to school already. Probably back to school.
Pretty
much. Yeah.
Either going or about to go.
All right. So that's wonderful. That's great. And we just want to give you some tips and tricks to the trade about going back to school, getting ready for new school, or just all those things when you're trying to reintroduce your child to school, new teachers, and all
new environment,
and all of the things above.
So I don't know when y'all was kids, but my mom used to, like, a week before, maybe even 2 weeks, used to tell us that we had to start going to bed.
Yeah.
At 9 o'clock.
Practice that routine.
Yeah, you gotta practice going to bed early, and I do it to my kids, but really it's just an excuse that they need to go to bed early.
Yep.
But with our research, because we be researching, you should gradually adjust your child's schedule from staying up late and waking up late to going to bed earlier and waking up earlier. You don't have to do a dramatic, getting them up at the time they're supposed to go to school, but at least, gradually get it to where they're used to, like, they're not staying up late. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. So, studies show that, children in general, not just like early childhood, but children in general need a certain amount of sleep every day. It's like, for younger children, it's actually way more than people think. It's like 10 to 11 hours of rest at night or throughout the day. So if they took a nap in the middle of the day, that counts as their rest. But generally speaking, about 9 to 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours for children. Getting ready to go back to school. So I know I do the same thing with my kids. I don't remember my mama practicing us getting, but I feel like that was a thing because I don't know why I would do it if they did. Anywho, we all grew up in the same house, right? So anyway, you definitely, I definitely made my kids go to bed earlier. I try to get them, and I also recommend that to parents in the center. Make sure that, hey, let's try to get that sleep pattern on track. All that sleep routine, nighttime routine on track, so they be ready for school.
Yeah, because even my children's school districts changed their time. So for some reason, the kids in middle school was had to get up earlier. Like, their buses came really, really early. Like, my son had to be out the house by 6:30, so he was getting up at 5 to get ready for school. And then my daughter would get up at 7. So that's like a 2-hour difference.
Oh, wow.
And she's high school. And then in elementary, they would get up, I think 6:30 we would get up to make sure they're on the bus by 7. But now they're changing it where I want to say the high schoolers are the ones who get up early. I got to check. But the middle schoolers actually are getting up later. So, which is good because, for middle school, that's early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's really early, getting up early. And then they get home at around 3:30ish, and then have to do all this stuff and be in bed by a certain amount of time. So I'm kind of happy they did that. But going back on the subject, I was just because we were talking about sleep. But get your child, get them ready, get them adjusted to the routine of getting up early, going to bed at a decent hour, because the more you do it when it's time for that first day of school, it's not going to be so much of a drag for them or their body has to get used to it because, we used to go to bed at 9, but it took about till 11 for me to actually go to sleep because my body was just used to it, from staying up late during the summer. Yeah. So, that could be something to start off with.
Definitely. Even if you have young infants and you're starting a certain child care center for your young infant, I think it's important for us to understand that the routines that you have with your child at home may not necessarily be the routines that they have at that center or that home care facility. So you got to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So know your child's schedule, that at school, what time to eat and everything like that. Same thing at home, and same thing. Know those things for at home so that when you do put them somewhere, if you're choosing a facility like at school district, you can't choose. Yeah. But if you are choosing a facility for your child to go to, you can keep that same schedule, that routine, or try to line up your life with that routine or schedule.
Yeah. Next is making sure your child is familiar with the school. So if your child so if your child is going to a different school this year, I mean, your child might be going from elementary to middle school to high school, or you might switch out schools or whatever. It's good to, make your child familiar with that school. You might drive up to it, drive around, like, oh, here's the playgrounds, this is the main entrance, oh, this part of the building looks like it's the cafeteria, just that part. And if you can actually go in and, even I know during the summer sometimes it opens, so you can introduce your children to, like, oh, this is the front desk lady, this is how you go in, just like that, can help your child ease the unknown of going to a different school, or even if it's the same school, just kind of reminding them about it, because they're going to a different grade. So of course it might be a different entrance, it might be a different hallway, it might be a different playground they have to go to. So, you're just showing them, like, this is the new place or the new hallway or the new door you're going to enter into. So, when that time comes, they kind of have a knowing of what's going to happen already, because you already introduced that to them.
Definitely. I agree with that too. I have a kid in my class. He said he is 4 and he's testing to see if he gets accepted into the 4K program in school. But he is ready for school. Like, he is ready to, he told me one morning, he said, Miss Alicia, I don't want to go to whole CDC no more. I want to go to big boy school. Aww. And I was like, that hurts. But they're ready, and so, but he knows the school, like, we have a elementary school across the street from my center. So, like, he'll be like that one over there. I want to go to a school like that one over there. So, like, he can recognize what a school, or elementary school looks like and things like that. And even though that's not the one that he probably be going to, but just knowing what the facility, they won't be intimidated sometimes. When they're young and entering a new school, you get that intimidation, apprehension.
Yeah.
And just like knowing, recognize, like you said, the playground and all these different parts.
And luckily, a lot of the elementaries look they're mostly the same same setup. So, I mean, even if you can't get to your own school, just showing them a different school, it's like, this is not your school, but this is what it will look like. The general concept of, like, this is the main entrance, blah, blah, blah. Right. So, it doesn't have to necessarily be their school, but at least something can show them. And even if they're not going to an elementary school, if they're going to a daycare, you can do the same thing. Or even if, I know in centers, when kids transition from one room to another, we have that week period of when they go to that room for like 2 hours, and the next day might be 3 hours, then it's a half a day, and then that last day is a whole day, and it's just helped them getting adjusted to this new environment that they're going to be going into. So it's the same concept kind of, but just in a bigger aspect of an elementary school view, just showing them this is what you're going to have to get used to from now on. So
I know that at center used to work at, the pre-K class would go to a field trip to a school so they can tour it, walk through, meet some teachers, meet some people, and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we did used to that, which was beneficial because, I mean, it just gets them used to that bigger environment that they're going to. And then the kids who are going to the school that we toured,
they will go,
that first day, they're like, oh, we was here. Like, I have my friends. And then, especially if the staff remembers them, like, oh, you was with someone, it just brings them more comfortability of, like, I know I belong here. I was here. I know, instead of just the unknown and they're, they don't know. Next, take advantage of the orientations and, the tours, the parent meetings, because not only is it a new environment for the children or new classroom setting or new grade or whatever, it also is new for parents too, because you have to get used to that teacher, that they might have changing of administration. You have to get used to new kids yourself. So, and new parents, like, you might have to get used to being around the new parents that are in that classroom, because Billy Bob gonna tell you about Sally Sue's mom. So now you know who Sally Sue's mom is. So take advantage of them. Go. especially if you meeting teachers and meeting administrations, because that's the best thing you can do for your children is knowing who those people who are going to be taking care of your kids, knowing who they are by face and name. And letting them know your face and name. So if there's a problem, or even if you just want to give them a compliment, they know it's from you.
Right.
And who's your child.
It's building that relationship.
Definitely,
I agree. Same thing with like, as a teacher or a provider, you have to prepare for new children. So like, I think that, you know, our job as providers is also to make that transition easier, as easy as possible. So if you're a provider out there, you know, there are different ways that you can make that transition easier. Sometimes I know teachers send out bios about themselves so that parents can know who they are, what they like, what they dislike, things like that. I know my children's teacher does that. Meet and greets, like you said, going to visit and building that relationship. Definitely, or just send an email. You know, just put a name with that person, kind of get a idea of how they are, who they are. That really does help. With a transition as a teacher and as a provider. It's like, okay, now I know who I'm talking to. When they come do the walkthroughs, I try to be at all my walkthroughs. Every child that comes to the center, I try to be at every single one of them, because sometimes I'm not able to make it, but I want them to see my face. I want them to know who I am. Even the child, because a child need a new face. You don't want to, like, I tell, when they call the schedule, I be like, bring the child with you for your tour, your walkthrough.
Go ahead.
Bring the child with you, because I need to know. I need to see your face, and I don't want the first day the child ever meet anybody here.
Don't know.
Like, they gonna flip out sometimes, you know, so. Yeah, I think that's
I'm partial on bringing it, only because you guys, I'm an in-home,
right?
And most of mine are, if it's during nap time and they bring their kid, it's kind of like hard. Yeah, it's distracting, and they want to play with the toys and stuff because they don't necessarily feel a center. It's a home. So I kind of am partial with bringing your child. If it's after hours, fine, bring them. But if it's during, I'd rather you not bring them. But like, I just had not just a few months ago, I had a new parent, and they brought the baby and dad, but I'm more of, okay, I met dad, now I need to meet mom before the child comes. So we made another day where the mom come in to meet me, because I see both you guys' faces. I know this is your child. Y'all see me. Both of you guys get a kind of a, you know, a vibe of who I am, because I don't want it to go back. Child being here 2 weeks, and then now mom pop up and she don't like me. Right. She don't like my box.
Right. No. Right.
We all can get it now. So luckily they be loving me. So I ain't got no problems. But
of course they love you. You're amazing.
I am.
You are. You know you are.
You too. That's how we be vibing. But you should always want to meet your teachers.
Yes.
And stuff like that, just so you can get a vibe, and you want that teacher to know this is my child.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't want to, oh, you're Sue's mom. Like, it's already half the year and you just know who I am. No, I need you to know who I am, at least know my name. So if I do come, I'm Monique. Oh, you're Nehemiah's mom. Yes. I'm Mariah's mom. Yes.
And it's really different for like elementary, middle school, high school age, because you don't have the opportunity, like in a child care center setting, to have those. You don't come in to pick up your child. You just pick them up in a drive-through line, or they're walking home and taking the bus. So you don't have that opportunity to make those connections with those teachers. So you got to be intentional about that.
Yeah, an email. I think just about every year, especially for Nehemiah, he's just turning in 6th grade. So we're just like, well, he's going to 7th grade, but he was, you know, last year was 6th grade.
Right.
So anyways, coming from the elementary to middle school, I still, within that first week, am emailing, hey, I'm Nehemiah's mom. If you have any issues, please reach out. And then when Mariah, who's in 11th grade now, hers is if something pops up. You know, if something happens, or, you know, I'm quick on that parent or power school, whatever it's called. The notifications come in. And if I see something going on, I last year had to email a teacher about the attendance. And I hadn't talked to him all year, but I'm like, yeah, what's going on? Yeah. So he knew who I was about time I was done. And
is she not coming, or you not doing something right?
It got corrected because it was him.
Of course.
But I know who all the transportation teacher, I knew who the attendance teacher, I knew how to vice principal. I knew all of that because
you got to.
Somebody's gonna know, and once they know, like, okay, she's not playing, then things get fixed.
And that's people really take care of your children better when they know who you are.
We've said that before.
And
they do, because my stuff got taken care of.
Right.
And Nehemiah gets taken care of a lot because I'm there, front and center when they need me, and I sympathize. I don't make excuses for him. Yeah. I'm like, there's no excuse. I'm sorry. If something does happen, they know. I don't make excuses.
Take responsibility, accountability for your children,
and we're gonna correct it.
Yeah.
So the last thing is, I know we be going off subject a little bit. Go over the rules and regulations of the class in the school, especially with COVID, and we got monkeypox popping up, and different schools have different guidelines. Different teachers have different roles in their room. I know one teacher may want you to wear masks, other teachers may not want you to wear a mask. So just go over the simple rules. Even if you don't know the rules, just the simple rules of, like, in class, listen to your teacher, be on your best behavior. If you're sitting at your desk, make sure you do your work. Just that type of stuff. And then when you do get something that explains the rules, just go over it with them so they are aware of the expectations they have of going to the new classroom or the new school, whatever it is. They have those expectations. Your child is going in already knowing.
Right.
And so it's not nothing new when the teacher has to re-explain it or whatever, because your child be a step ahead.
Okay. Gotta look at the whole
picture.
The
whole time.
Okay. Yeah, so, I agree with that. I know every year, and I'm bad at this. Every year, I'm bad at it. But every year they send a code of conduct home, and you're supposed to tear out the last page and sign it and send it back. I'm always like 3 weeks in, and I'm like, oh, let me sign this paper. But they do that for a reason. So the expectations of your student, of you as a parent. And when you coming in, there are no questions about how the conduct and how you're supposed to carry yourself and how things are run within that school.
Yeah.
Or for that district or whatever. This year, it was funny that my kids' teachers actually sent home they emailed. It was like, this is a classroom expectations and things of that nature. But they sent it halfway when the school year was already over. And it was strange to me. They had just made it, though, because they had been having so many issues coming from children that are in virtual school, hybrid, and all these different things. People not knowing because they're in third grade and first grade. So, I think a first grader, 2 years in school was basically at home or hybrid, some form of hybrid situation. Or some kids did strictly virtual. So, come back into the classroom, they were having issues. I know they were, because they wouldn't have sent it if they didn't. Yeah, so halfway through the year, we get this long email saying, "Can you sign off on this about the what type of expectations we have in the classroom?" Which I understood. Like, I went ahead and read through it and signed it. I went over with my kids as well, so they would know, like, okay, I knew that they were having issues, not specifically my children, but just the classroom as a whole. Certain things they didn't learn. They didn't learn how to carry themselves in school, and with COVID going on, and that's really difficult. These kids really had a 2-year delay, and children who started in kindergarten during COVID, they really don't know. Their first year, 2 years of school was not normal school. So that's why, going over the class rules, school rules, your own personal expectations, because I have expectations for my children when they go to school that things are done a certain way. So like that always helps with your kids when they're starting a new school, or coming back to school, new teachers or whatever. So
and also you want to go over whatever routine you had last year in your home. You need to go over that routine. If it's coming home, do your homework, do your chores. Go over that constantly until it's time for school, so they know. First day of school, you be so excited. You want to give all your paperwork, and you ain't got no homework, so you just throw your backpack and you go outside.
Right.
No, you need to get back into, even if you don't have any homework, you about to do some reading.
Read a book,
So it just gets their mind out of that play summer mode and back into, like, now it's time to get some education going. And setting aside time at least an hour or so for your kid to sit down and do homework. I know we used to, when they were all in elementary, set the Alexa set Alexa to like, okay, she didn't come on to like an hour from like 7 to 8. And we all, because I was in school too, still am, but we would all be in school and we would do our homework nonstop for that hour.
Right.
No phone, no TV. And it just helped them get a good study routine, habits. Where they know, you get this quiet hour. So even if you want to set that in place, or if you've been doing that, just to remind them, like, those few weeks before the summer is ending, like, hey, we're going to start doing this quiet time. I mean, even if you want to start doing it and having them read a book so they get used to it, it's not going to be like an adjustment when school starts, but they've already gradually got to that point with their mind. Because during the summer, the kids lose a lot of knowledge. I forgot how much, but there's a lot of knowledge. So just getting them back into being able to retain the knowledge, maybe reviewing some stuff so they're all ready for school is a good idea. So also, what I did read also is that if you have a kindergartner, like, we're all big on, education, of course, reading, writing, all that stuff. But kindergarten teachers are rather your child know how to do self-help skills. And me and Alicia has talked about self-help skills in prior podcasts. Go ahead and look at that one if you don't know what we're talking about. Go back and look. But they rather you do self-help skills, your child do self-help skills, than to know how to spell their name and stuff. Because if you think about it, it's the kindergarten's teacher to teach that. So your child needs to come in also, because I do encourage, the children to be somewhat
kindergarten ready,
but to put on their jacket, zip it up, button it up, tie their shoes. That is all self-help skills, because it takes time out of the kindergarten teacher's day to come and have to zip up 30 coats, tie 30 shoes.
Like, imagine if they gotta sit, if every morning, how much class time that takes away if every morning they're helping them put stuff in their cubbies and take their lunch boxes and put it away and zip up, take off coats and stuff like that. Like, all those children, that takes at least 10, 20 minutes out of work time or learning time. And,
and it's hard, because just think as a little, up to first grade, like, there's some first graders who don't know how to tie their shoes. But just think as a first grader having to wait for your teacher, okay, tie the shoes, zip this up, tie your shoes, zip this up. That's a long time to be like, I'm ready to go outside, but I gotta, so just having your child be able to, I can tie my own shoes, zip up my own coat. I know, not throwing shade, but my niece, she's gonna be 6. She didn't know how to button. She didn't know how to button. I was just like, you don't know how to button your shirt? Like, come here. So I had taught her, like, we go
to the booth, pull it through.
I didn't even do that. I got to let her teach her that. I was just like, you stick your thumb and you pull it out. And I said, now you do it. And she, within, I want to say it took 5 minutes, she was able to button her shirt. But my sister didn't realize, like, at that age, she needs to learn how to button. Like, she should know how to tie her shoe and button and zip up. And it just baffled me, like, you didn't know this? I can't have my niece looking like this.
All right, we over here giving advice to my niece over here.
So anyway,
together, baby.
There is a toy, because we always got to bring toys.
Always got something to help.
It's called
I Can Tie My Shoe.
I Can Tie My Shoe, and it's by Key Education. We're gonna tag them so they see that we are reviewing their stuff. So basically, it is. And this actually worked, because me and my little steppers, we will do this activity. So it's a shoe, and it has the laces, and you can teach them. I'm not going to do it, but you teach them how to lace it, and you teach them how to tie it. And this works with the fine motor skills, which is a developmental thing, and it teaches them how to tie their shoe. And then after they can master this, you bring the shoe out, and they can do their own shoe. So again, we'll tag where you can buy it from, but I do, and it says from 4 and up. That tells you by kindergarten, they're 5 years old, they should be tying their shoe. Because this is recommended for ages 4 and up. So that should tell you something that we be knowing what we talking about.
Listen,
we be knowing. And so we'll make sure we get you guys.
And don't just give your kids the thing and just give it to them.
No, there's about 5 different shoes in there, so y'all can do it together.
Yeah, do it together. Y'all teach them how to do it, because they're gonna make knots, and don't expect them to get it right away.
It's a practice.
It'll strengthen those hand muscles. It really will, and it'll help them be able to just have the strong. And then that everything's connected, like we always say.
Yeah, of course.
Helps him with handwriting.
Exactly.
Eventually.
Them fingers. Yep. Everything is connected. Mm-hmm. Everything is building up to something.
Yeah.
So just to recap, get you that schedule adjusted.
Get it on there.
More no more late nights, late mornings, early nights. Get your home routine back in order. Make sure take them to the school, make sure they're familiar with the school, go to the orientations, and lastly, teach them rules and regulations.
I want to add something though before we go. Be mindful of your child's emotions and their changes that are happening in their lives. Sometimes little friends have big feelings, and so we have to make sure we take into account that we are being mindful of their emotions and how they feel. You got to talk to them, let them know. Sometimes teachers, I hate to say it that way, all teachers aren't great teachers. All administration is not great administration. We know that. You are an adult. The adults in our lives, it's our responsibility to make sure that we protect our children. So be mindful of any and everything. Pay attention to your child's emotions. Pay attention to their behaviors. If you notice change in behaviors, if you notice change in emotions, make sure you pay attention to that so that you can, your child can learn in their best way possible. That's one way. And then also to protect your children from harmful behaviors that they may be exposed to. That's from other children and even staff or whatever. So that's one thing I did want to add. Just make sure those emotions, those behaviors, make sure you keep that, and that can be a good thing. If your child comes home and they're always in a great mood, they enjoying school, that means that their teacher is doing something right, and that they're on the right path, they're on the right track to learning and having a positive learning experience. And that's what we want to definitely promote always: positive learning experiences for all our children. So,
and why she brought that up on our next podcast, we're going to talk about if your child does have these big emotions and stuff, what it could mean, especially with the climate of what's been going on.
Yes.
We're going to give you some resources. So please tune in to next month to get those resources and what it could mean. Not necessarily it is, but it could mean. And we're going to talk about other things to prepare with the safety aspect of school. So make sure you tune in.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening or watching or whatever. And
check out our email.
So
funny. She be forgetting her job this whole day.
I've been off today, y'all. I've been really off. We did the intro 7 times. Listen, check us out. You can email us if you have any questions, comments, reasons why, concerns. If there's a topic you might want to hear us talk about, definitely can email us at a.wholeway@gmail.com. That's a.wholeway@gmail.com. WHOLEWAY@gmail.com. Also can find us on Instagram and Facebook, A Whole Step Ahead Podcast. You can comment, DM us, whatever. We'll respond, and you might hear your topic, or you probably will hear your topic on an upcoming episode. And then we also are able to provide some resources to you if necessary. So if you have a question, inbox us. We can find things for you and send you things. We are a resource, so just don't forget that we are a resource. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer you. So A Whole Step Ahead Podcast on Facebook, Instagram. You find us on Spotify and all the other good where you find podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. And we look forward to engaging with you, and we look forward to hearing from you all. And thank you so much. Thank you for all your support.
Thank you. Like, comment,
share, subscribe, all of that.
Please share.
share. And
we want you to share.
We'll hear back from y'all the next time. See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.